Let's talk about the big idea, creating the sustainable necessities for life. Today, I'm joined by Vidor, Kim, and Michel. Later on, Etienne will join us for the Q&A session. Here's our vision for a 150-person camp that's modular, robust, and scalable. The original goal was to get to 33% reduction of fuel, water, and waste across the board. We're going to show you how it can go above and beyond that.
To achieve fuel savings of 41%, microgrids prioritizes on renewables. Batteries store energy from solar, wind, and combined heat and power. Generators are sized to provide redundancy during peak demand. Although outside of the scope, foldable shelters could be included in future solutions to further reduce the energy consumption of camps. Foldable containers provide 80% less CO2 emission and 4 times better thermal insulation compared to tents.
DACOM's solution consists of 2 containers. The first container is the sanitary unit, where you have the sinks, toilet, and urinal. The second container is the ecological filtration unit, where the wastewater from the first container is treated and stored for later use.
So wet food waste is dehydrated using the dehydration technology. Dried waste, such as cardboard and paper, are shredded and introduced to the dehydrated biomass to form a low-carbon biomass feedstock. The feedstock is then introduced to our energy recovery gasification technology, where at elevated temperatures, we produce a very clean burning, low carbon energy.
With a simple and yet effective advanced water treatment system, we can take gray water combined with non-potable water to reduce hauled potable water volumes by up to 100%. So we've shown how we can achieve results greater than 33% reduction across the board. In terms of scalability, we can also take this technology down to as low as 20 people, up to 1,500 and beyond. In terms of setup and teardown, our technologies don't offer anything different than what's currently required to set up camps. We estimate right now that it would take 800 person-hours in order to do this. In terms of transportability, all of our technologies fit in 20-foot containers and meet all the requirements of this competition. Our technologies are simple to operate, and with built-in redundancy, we minimize any significant risk with downtime. A basic level of training is required to keep these technologies operating and to maintain them. Our technologies are designed with standardized components to be easily repaired in the field. Critical spare parts are included to ensure reliability. Overall, each robust system is fully tested or field proven. Together, the benefit of this design is that each system can operate independently of one another, and with built-in redundancy can ensure reliability. So let's talk about what makes these technologies innovative. First off, this is the first application of direct potable reuse in Canada. What's direct potable reuse? That's taking gray water and taking it all the way to drinking water. In order to do this safely, we need multiple barriers. Following international regulations adopted in California, we need to achieve a very high level of reduction of viruses to do this. So the key to making this simple to operate as well as safe is with engineered storage buffers. But what are those? Tanks. Not those kinds, this kind. This combination of technology allows us to take gray water and take it to drinking water in the most simplistic, reliable, and robust way possible, reducing total water volume, not just potable water, by over 50%.
Black water from toilet and urinals, and that will go into the next container for treatment. The second container is the ecological filtration unit. It starts with a settling tank where the fecal matter and toilet paper is removed from the wastewater. The next step is the cocoa filtration by Premitech. It is a similar technology as the EcoFlow biofilter that is used for remote area. The other steps are UV disinfection, chlorination, and pH adjustment.
The current microgrid is based on lithium battery systems. But by Q4 of 2021, we'll be able to provide sodium ceramic battery systems, which are much safer and provide a wide temperature range, going from -100 to +100 Celsius. Our team of international experts provides mobile shelter and energy solutions across the world, ranging from northern Scandinavia all the way down to Australia.
Energy recovery is a very clean form of combustion. We operate at elevated temperatures in the gasification zone, which is 1500 Fahrenheit and above. The clean energy or low carbon energy that's derived is used for thermal heating within the camp.
We have pan-Canadian and bilingual representation here today. Innocorps from Saskatchewan, Darcom from Quebec, EcoGrowth from Alberta, an academic partner in SAIT from Alberta, and finally Pop-Up City from Ontario. Our teams operate together underneath a confidentiality agreement. Our roles and responsibilities are clearly defined under an MOU. While D&D brought us together, we've now formed a strategic alliance to pursue private camp opportunities outside of this initial competition. We'll have more to share shortly, but we're really excited to see where this could go. We see a huge opportunity to bring these 5 technologies together, and we're going to talk about that later. So Innocorps, with the breadth of expertise of engineering to be able to bring these technologies together, is acting as the system integrator for our project team. We combine the 5 different technologies together and act as a liaison to outside organizations such as your own. At Innocorps, we've been able to take technologies from a garage scale all the way up to a multi-million-dollar complex machine that involved electromechanical, process, and software challenges along the way. Our team primarily consists of engineers, and it put us at the center of this project as best suited to be the system integrator, combining the expertise from the 4 other companies together into this solution.
Pop-Up City Incorporated via Axsol and Continest are currently suppliers of the UN and NATO. Both companies have already conducted deployments with their own technologies.
The Darcom solution consists of 2 containers that you can transport to the site. It is environment friendly, no noise, no odors, and that can be used in different climate conditions.
So EcoGrowth has many systems up and running. Most recently, a Fortune 500 company is utilizing the technology in a remote camp environment. EcoGrowth dehydrators, shredders, and gasification energy recovery boilers have been in operation for 5+ years.
Our communication strategy started 8 months ago. In order to be able to deliver the round 2 application, we started doing daily stand-up meetings, coming together and going through the proposal. Even now, putting together this video has involved collaboration across multiple continents. External communication is only done through Innocorps, so we all speak as one voice. So our technologies are complementary to each other, but we need to establish very clearly a chain of command so we know that somebody's in charge and who's making decisions. We all have an understanding of what our relationship to this team is and where each other stands. So each team has shown that it can bring together its own team, resources, and knowledge to optimize and solve their own domain. What we're doing here is creating a new super team that brings together the collective expertise, facilities, and technologies, all which have been field tested and proven to some degree into a larger project and using that collectively together to solve your problem. In our past collective experiences developing new products, we know that the ability to make decisions fast is super important. Our executive team for this project consists of business owners and executives who know how to make those decisions in a timely manner and in an efficient way. Innocorps was the 2014 Tech Venture Challenge winners, Startup Energy Transition's top 100 global companies, and has 5 granted patents currently.
Axsol has been a listed supplier of the United Nations with a series of international NGOs since 2015. It also received the German National Innovation Award for Mobile Energy Systems, while Continest has received the Defense Innovation Award in 2020. Axsol delivered battery technologies in 2018 to the NATO exercise in Norway, which is considered one of the biggest cold weather exercises called Trident Juncture. Parallel with this, in 2019, Continest delivered a 240-man camp 800 kilometers north of Stockholm during January and February, withstanding cold climate conditions and providing the expected solution for the customer.
Eco-growth is really part of the new low-carbon economy. Our specialty is turning waste streams into clean, usable thermal energy. So eco-growth has been recognized by the Alberta Emerald Foundation for Environmental Innovation. As well, the Building Energy Innovators Council has recently recognized eco-growth as a Green Supplier of the Year.
So how do we get from here today to having a camp in a year ready to go at a D&D facility? We know it's not a straight line between those two, so we're pursuing private opportunities in order to de-risk integration of our technologies together. We hit the ground running back in September 2020 so that we could be ready today following signing a CA to get going. We have a phased design approach as our next step, and we built in contingency into our plan to have extra time to get integration done prior to a year out from now to execute on this. We foresee the majority of risk and work going forward after signing the CA being the integration of these 5 key technologies and fully defining the control philosophy for the overall camp and getting to detailed drawings and ultimately implementing these systems. We would like to have D&D and CAF personnel to work with us so that we can iterate and get good feedback to make it even easier for them to run these camps. We have all the human capital in place to execute on this project, including the technical expertise to actually follow through. But like any fast-growing company, we're all collectively looking to add more depth to our human capital. We've outlined the main risks that we see here and our mitigation strategy that we've identified. We do know that there's more risk, but we wanted to bring the most important ones to your attention here. Do technical and programmatic risk exist? Absolutely. COVID being a great example of that. We don't anticipate COVID to continue on for much longer in terms of supply chain interruptions. However, we have to have baked in contingency in order to minimize that as a risk disrupting getting this done. Growing up on the prairies, and in Saskatoon in particular, I know something about cold weather. We can get down to minus 40 for weeks at a time, and even plus 40 in the summertime. So we designed a system that uses heat from diesel exhaust, as well as the gasification process to winterize our systems, and then climate control and insulation to help regulate temperatures in the summer. For the liquid waste domain, the most significant risk is the lack of proper maintenance or the availability of consumables such as chlorine. In this case, the toilet systems would be non-functional for a period of time. To mitigate this, wastewater would have to be hauled out for a short duration while repairs are being made.
Eco-growth is a waste diversion company, and the biggest risk probably is not having enough biomass material to initiate operation of the energy recovery system. In that case, what we would do is we would stockpile material until we had enough. Obviously, larger size camps, that's not an issue. But as we scale down to a 20-man type camp, it's going to become more of an issue.
The most significant risk in the water domain is that a failure of any one of the barriers would cause the water to be unsafe to drink, especially when doing direct potable reuse. We've mitigated this with engineered storage buffers, those tanks, redundant systems, and having an additional backup water supply. A potential risk with using any sort of renewable system is that variable weather conditions are going to cause a change in the amount of electrical power that's generated on a daily basis. The way that we mitigate this is by having battery storage and generators sized in order to supply peak demand. This ensures that a camp is always able to have the energy available it needs to operate properly. Circular City as a team is committed to take our technology and provide it in a deliverable form to D&D on time and within the budget allocated for this project. We mentioned we had some news to share with you by the end of this. The Circular City is a new brand that brings together these 5 key technologies. The Circular City and what this D&D project represents is a proxy for solving the needs of small and medium communities in Canada and around the world. We currently have ongoing discussions with a First Nations-owned camp operator and provider to develop a version of the circular city for forestry and remote mining camps. Our combined solution offers a lower life cycle cost while also being good for the environment. There's an opportunity to potentially transfer the infrastructure over to the local community after the exploration or forestry work is completed. We see a large opportunity, in particular in northern and remote communities that lack infrastructure currently. In the new low-carbon economy, we have the opportunity, via promotion of these technologies together, the circular city, to foster and create a brand for Team Canada at home and abroad. That means Canadian jobs, that means Canadian solutions solving Canadian problems here, and the opportunity to export technology abroad. Already, 40% of our consortia already has active military contracts with NATO. We see an opportunity to take our technology beyond the borders of Canada and supply it to all the NATO militaries in Europe and abroad. By combining these technologies and executing on this plan, we are choosing to provide the sustainable necessities for life now, solving problems at home and abroad. Welcome to the Circular City.